Well, how are hippity-dippity doing today? Welcome to the Tim Weichselbaum Show. This is my podcast. I am Tim Weichselbaum. This is episode 43 of the program. It's a series. It's a continuous form of entertainment. It's a form of a podcast or whatever that goes on forever there's no ending. There's no breaks. It's not like a seasonal thing. It's just a continuous year-round podcast that comes out once a week, and we're pretty late to come out. We're like a couple days late. I don't know. It drifts sometimes. Sometimes I just don't stick to the schedule. I'm very, 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 very bad at that. And that's okay, because we're still going. We're still documenting my progression, my devolution. Is it an evolution? Is my life getting better or worse? I don't know. But either way, we're documenting it. I don't know, this could culminate into something bad. This could be the beginning of the end for me. But I don't look at things that way. I don't look at things that way. Or at least I don't look at my life as that negatively. I don't have a doom and gloom outlook for me. I'll be fine. For the most part, I'll be fine. I do, I'm just talking comparing my life to the world at large, which we all agree is going to shit. Everybody's got to deal with something in the near to distant future. Everybody's got to deal with something that's coming that might be, people that live in Florida, even people that are killing it and they can afford to live in Miami or Palm Beach, Mar-a-Lago. We all look at them with envy. We go, oh man, must be great to live in Mar-a-Lago. But look at, you don't know until you're them. That's not that great to be them or him, in particular Trump, living in his fucking mansion Mar-a-Lago. And he gets fucking raided, He's got enough problems as it is. He's got to worry about global warming. He's got to worry about the coast. He's on the freaking coast, man. He's off the coast already, man. If global warming is real, and let's just say it is for this argument, he's on the freaking water. So if anybody's going to be affected by global warming and the rising tides from the melting glaciers, Antarctica is it's just one giant glacier. If that continent melts even a little bit, it's going to fucking raise the entire ocean is going to go up. The sea level's going to rise. Everybody, compares their height to sea level because the sea usually, we assume, is a constant elevation. It's sea level, that's 0. But if it's going up, then altitude goes down. Now, Everest is going to be Mount Everest is no longer this height. Now it's down by however much. It's 20 feet shorter because the ocean went up. So our concept of 0 is now different. So Everest is now shorter. Isn't that fucking weird? That's just how it works. So anyway, freaking Trump has enough problems as it is with this whole raid thing. It's he's got to worry about his place getting flooded and drifted away into the freaking ocean. When that shit happens in a couple decades to a century, however long, hey, okay, Trump will be dead probably by then, but other people will still be. Have you ever thought about that? Just because you're going to die doesn't mean that humanity's over. Like, we're still going to keep going, you know? And that just dawned on me for the first time in my life, because I kind of had this like main character syndrome going on. Like I'm one of these narcissistic millennials who thinks that the world just revolves around them, that there's no way that humanity is going to continue on after I'm dead, because how could it? I'm the only one that matters, man. I'm the dude. I'm the main character of the Mudded Ducks or whatever movie is happening at the time. It just clicked for me like just a couple days ago. I was like, there is going to be somebody to take care, like to process your body when you're dead, depending on where I die. There's going to be somebody to like embalm my body, because it's not like humanity's just going to stop. The show is not over just because I'm done. And that never really occurred to me until very recently at age 32. You know, it's like, it's not just about you, man. And also, that is a thing. How am I? If I just die in my house, like right now, holy fuck. Good thing I do this podcast, because there ain't nobody that's going to check. Like, there's nobody that's going to check on me. By the time somebody checks on me, it's going to be such a biohazard that the whole house will have to be bulldozed. And that's a pretty dark thing to be talking about. But hey, God for fucking bid. That's all I'm worried about. Like, the home value going down, because not that I have anyone to I don't really care what happens really, but it's just weird to think about that if I were to die, there's nobody that will fucking find out about it for like a month later at the minimum. It could be many months before anybody does anything about it. And it's just going to be like a fucking pie, just like a blob of like, it's just going to, it'll be a body at first, but that's going to fucking melt into a blob that's going to slowly grow and spread throughout the entire house. It's going to sink into the foundation. It's going to like completely mess up the ecosystem. Every animal will be in the house, digging it. And then it's going to cause like a new species to evolve, because that's how long it'll take. Like the Titanic, it'll just like this fucking isolated ecosystem of untouched. It's going to form new species of bugs, beetles. There's going to be a beetle named after me. They're going to call it the Weichselbaum Beetle, because of how fucking weird I was, that nobody found out about my death, because of how much of a fucking loser I was. That's fucking low. That's a new fucking way to call somebody a loser. That they were such a loser that when they died, a fucking new beetle formed from their corpse, because of how long it took to discover the fucking corpse. Now that is sad. So that's my goal, is to just have somebody, a mistress, even a fucking prostitute that I see regularly, so that they can wonder where the fuck I am if I die suddenly. You never know, dude. I could trip on something and break my head open or choke on something. I was eating fucking, not cashews, not pecans, but the other, a very, easy to choke on nut, pistachios. Those are a tough nut to swallow. You could easily fucking inhale one of those things and then you're choking. What do? Got to look for a chair to give yourself the Heimlich on. This is the type of shit I think about on a regular basis as somebody who lives alone and has zero contact with the outside world. It's just a normal thing to be kind of paranoid about. And the more I think about it, the more I worry. Like, hey, I just kind of thought of a business idea because I am an entrepreneur. I am still alive, so I might, I'm not just like a dead guy yet. I still have a chance to save myself and to prevent this new beetle from being discovered. But hey, that's not the worst thing to do with your life, is to let a new species be formed. I mean, hey, that's kind of cool. But I just thought of a business idea. It's where losers who don't have any social life, who don't want to just not have anybody know when they're dead. I mean, of course, eventually somebody will figure it out, like my broker. That will take a long time, but that's what like brokerages do. Like if they have just this money just in their account and they don't touch it after a certain amount of time, they go, hey, do you want your money? They got to like go after you. Otherwise, it just gets abandoned. But yeah, you got to have a lot of money for them for that to be. So the business idea, they would be like, hey, are you still alive? It would just be like a very simple app that just sends you push notifications. I could probably make it myself in like a week. Just make an Android app or an iOS. I don't know why Android, because I don't have an Android, but it would be just cheaper to develop probably. I don't know. I would make an iOS app that just sends you a push notification every day at the same time. Just like, hey, we're just wondering if you're still alive, just in case there's like a rotting corpse that we need to scoop up. And it would be kind of annoying to have to like tell it that you're still alive, because like who the fuck wants to do that? It's like, yeah, you would only be doing it to not send the coroner. It's like, oh, I don't want the fucking, it's like, yeah, don't send the stupid coroner. So it's a brilliant idea. And to make it, so I already thought of that. You don't even need to do anything. It would just use your data automatically the second you open up your phone. Like if you just unlock your phone, that would count as being alive, I guess. Or just if you have an Apple Watch, it would just be like, okay, it's attached to your heart. Whatever. There's many biometrics that it could pull, that it could just get. Because we live in a very data-centric world, that this is a fucking idea. This is a fucking idea involving big data. And hey, so what would the incentive be? So basically it's just an automated, so okay, you just need the app on your phone and it's going to take care of the rest in the background. And it'll give you like a set, within 12 hours of you not, that's the minimum probably, like a day. 12 hours to a day would be the minimum amount of time to go by, because maybe I just don't want to use my Apple Watch for one day. Maybe I go a fucking day without using my phone or any Apple device, which would be super rare. But let's just say that's the threshold, and you would be able to define it yourself. But so yeah, that's enough for me. Like if a whole fucking day goes by where I'm not touching any of my Apple devices, yeah, you better believe something terrible has probably happened to me. I've probably been trafficked, I probably overdosed on fentanyl. That's the first thing that you could reasonably believe. I don't go on social media that much, so that's not enough to know if I'm dead. If I ain't touching any device, then yeah. Send the SWAT team. Send somebody, man. Send a armed fire EMT. Not the police, because I don't want to. You don't need to send like anyone that's gonna elevate the situation. Send EMTs with guns. It doesn't hurt to have a gun. So anyway, that's a brilliant idea. How would it make money though? And what is the real incentive for people to install it? And what is the real demographic or the market? How big is the potential customer base for this product? I can answer all those questions. It's actually becoming bigger and bigger, the customer base, because of COVID started people off on this this path of isolation to the point, and they're comfortable. Everybody is working from home at a high rate. Everybody is just not leaving their homes and not socializing as much face to face or at all. Which I'm in the camp. I'm in that camp. I'm in the not socializing at all camp. And there's so many great business ideas opening up for this. We need robots. We need sex dolls, man. We need all-purpose sex dolls, not just sex dolls, just home robots that you could fuck, but that also are just like your partners, man. They replace pets, spouses, friends, and butler. They just do everything. They clean. They cook. I don't know about that one. I don't know if I want the same thing that's cleaning to also be cooking, because that's like, do I want my vacuum to also be touching my food? Nah. See, you can't just tell it to take a shower. You can't be like, okay, can you at least take a shower before you just go from dusting to chopping up onions, you fucking slob? You're a robot. You're not a human. I can't just tell you to be like, okay, we just fucked. Can you clean a little bit? Hygiene is still a thing. Just because you're not a human doesn't mean you don't have to clean yourself. So that's going to be interesting. But anyway, there's going to be so many fucking solutions for people like me, that there's going to be so many fucking ways to become a new $1 billion business, man. This is exciting. So anyway, let's just focus on the very basic one that that I opened on, which is, am I dead? The am I dead, the Uber of coronation, of picking up dead bodies. That's the business model. So it's like, okay, we got one. Is this guy? He's 32. He has not made contact with any of his devices in 48 hours. He's definitely dead. The power's not been out, so that he has power. So he's a loser with no life other than consuming content online. So yes, he's dead. So wear gloves, put on your full PPE. It's hot. Anyway, bring whatever it takes. Bring the right equipment. So anyway, what would be we already covered the audience. The audience is getting bigger. There is so many people that just want to stay home, avoid the world, just bask in their anxiety. So anyway, we're talking, geez, there's going to be millions of potential customers. And then we got to talk about competition. Like, if just because we're the first to do it does not mean we're going to be the best. So you got to roll it out in a way that's going to retain the customers. Because there's going to be competition is all I'm saying. It's not a hard idea to implement. So how do we build a moat? How do we build a resistant brand to this? What is the appeal to people like me? Well, peace of mind, knowing that there's going to be no concern that if I die, it just gives me peace of mind. It's like, I'm going to die alone, but that's not what I'm worried about. I'm not worried about that part of it. I'm worried about the effect on the environment. So that's the appeal, but what is the real incentive to install this motherfucker? It's got to give you like some reward. So it's got to like gamify. So yeah, it's going to like, that's what every app is. It gamifies whatever it's selling. It's like, okay, here's your profile. Here's this achievement that you're trying to achieve. But you're going to unlock achievements by, regularly using the app. I don't know. You'll have like levels and shit. Like, you leveled up. You outlived this dude. This dude fucking, you're doing good. You've not made contact with the outside world for 25 months in a row. That's a new record. And you'll be able to follow other people. Yeah, you might as well like gamify introversion and reclusion, like the most reclusion, because it's not like we're making friends any other way. So yeah, you might as well make it a social media app. And I don't fucking, like, you could like somehow pay them money at first to you. I don't know. That's the easiest way to get people to download it, is to like, okay, here's a $5 coupon or gift card just for being the first person to install it or some shit like that. And it has to have a fucking, how's it going to make money? It's got to like show ads in the app. That's bad. Subscriptions is not a way. Nobody's going to pay money for it. Like, really? I'm not going to pay money to have people pick up my body after I'm dead. Like, that's not really something I see myself paying money for. I would want it to pay me money. Like, yeah, so how the fuck would that make money? I don't know. It's not a subscription-based thing. It would be like, okay, here's an ad. Yeah, so that's where I'm stuck. So that's where I gotta think about that. It's a pretty grim idea for an app. It's like, here's the thing that I only downloaded because I'm a what do you call it? Recluse that's afraid to because I just don't want to like have human interaction. I just don't want to do that. So I'm opting out of life. Anyway, that was a great thing to talk about for 20 minutes. Because I am a recluse. I've not broken the streak of going out. I've not gotten a haircut. That's the thing I would like, is hey, that's something that you have to leave the house for. So that's something I haven't been doing. So I've been getting delivery quite often. That's one of the things I'm allowing myself to spend money on is groceries, man. Because everything else, I'm kind of like not allowing. I'm not buying stuff, Like, I'm not buying drugs. Thank God, man. Like, if I had an opiate addiction, that would be fucking expensive. If you're trying to be a long-term investor, that's just not a good thing to go down, is the hobby of opiates. It's not like the worst hobby, I don't think, but it's a super expensive one. And nobody really like makes a lot of money being a heroin addict. Like, it's not like way to get rich. Nobody gets, okay, like that I could say. Nobody gets rich being a heroin addict. But hey, I'm not doing that. I'm not blowing money on anything at all. I'm living lean, but I am allowing myself to blow money on food delivery. So yesterday I got Wendy's delivered first, and that was to, and I got healthy Wendy's, and it was actually really pretty fucking pretty high quality. For what it is, considering it's fast food, it wasn't bad. It was high quality ingredients. It was fresh. I was impressed, and I got bunless keto, and it was good because it didn't make me feel like crap afterwards, That's the good thing about eating low carb is you could eat like a huge meal and you won't feel like crap. You'll feel full, but you won't feel like you just killed yourself. Anyway, so that did not fill me up. I had 4, what do you call them? Not Whoppers, the Baconator. Yeah. I got 4 Son of Baconators, so not the real, not the junior size, but 4 of them, and I wasn't full. I was like, okay, now I want dessert, because I am a very dessert having. I like dessert. I'm an enthusiast. I like eating sweets. So I was like, okay, fuck it. I'm going to do it. I'm just going to get more ice cream and pecans. So that's basically been my diet. Still is just a whole pint of ice cream with many pecans mixed into it. It's just like, it hits all the food. It's just like, that's all you really need is pecans and ice cream. It's a full diet. It's a full meal that hits all the vitamins and nutrients that you need to live. And it's fucking delicious. So I did that, and it's probably not the best thing to do, but I'm doing well. I could be doing so much worse, man. So I'm doing fine. I feel fine. My sleep quality is whatever. So let's just cover the update on that. Let's get all the boring personal shit out of the way. Because this podcast is about self-improvement. And it's a video diary. So the thing that I've been doing that's been really making it tough to do anything, like, it's been really, I don't know, man. Like, it's too early to know if the zoloft is right for me. So I'm on week 3, or I don't even know. I'm not good at tracking the days. I think I'm on like day 23 of taking the zoloft, something like that. And it's definitely given me some side effects, but I'm gonna keep going, man. I'm trying not to analyze it. I'm trying not to overanalyze it and be afraid of continuing, because I need to fucking stay on it for 2 months before I decide if it's helping, man. But the side effects are definitely a thing, man. So it's like I get these cold sweats at night, and that's one of them. And I guess like nausea I'm still going through, and a little bit of. So I had one night of like heavy anxiety, like where it was almost like a panic attack, and it was pretty intense, man. And I was like, yeah, this is definitely from the zoloft. So, but that was only a one night thing, and I think I drank a lot of coffee that day, and so I just got through it, and it's not unmanageable, and whatever. So I don't know if it's gonna really give me the effect that I need to achieve my goals. And also, I don't really have any clear-cut goals as it is. I thought I did, but then I was like, nah, TikTok, comedy, those are not important goals, or I just gave up on them. I don't know. But I don't know if the zoloft is going to give me the kick in the ass or the thrust that I need to become motivated. It might be something else besides depression. I definitely still need it for anxiety, but I don't know if it's the end, if it's going to be the only thing. I might need to supplement it with something else to give me the motivation to actually reach my goals. Because that's really something that I just have been struggling with, is not like happiness, it's just like this like lack of motivation. So, and that's fine. I'm chill. Because I don't know, because even if I don't really have any goals, I don't really need, it's not the end of the world. I still enjoy just being alive at the very basic level, even though I'm not like achieving any, even though I'm like kind of like super stagnated right now. I'm not. I'm still learning things about, I'm still gaining something. So I'm not going too hard on myself. And that's the big thing right now. I think that I'm learning is to just kind of stop being hard on myself. I don't know. That's why I'm like, it's like when I have like the ice cream, it's like, hey, fuck it. Don't look at it as like something to be ashamed of. I don't know. So it's like I'm just trying to relax, because I guess this thing that I'm going through, this whole like super long isolated streak that I'm on of just like staying in, not socializing. There's a reason I'm doing it. It's not just like I'm completely like spiraling. It's not like I have no basis for thought behind it. It's like I'm doing it because I wasn't getting what I needed out of going out. I was aimless. I need a fucking, and I wasn't enjoying I don't know. So I was like in a rut. So anyway, so I will go back to something that is like creative. So like something else is like I've just realized is like this way of like putting it into words what I've been struggling with, and that is giving versus taking. Like the whole, we could decide on a day-to-day basis whether we want to just give or take. Just like there's two ways to go about your life. You could just lie in bed all day and sleep, watch YouTube, jerk off, eat food, and that's it. And then the cycle continues, and that's 100% take. Or you could do give, which is like, I don't know, working a job, paying money, donating money, creating content for other people to watch on YouTube. Like this would be an example of giving, I guess. Not really. It's pretty, but that's the dichotomy, the opposites that are competing of philosophies of life. You could either be a giver or a taker. Like if you create music as a job, if that's your job, that's a giving. That's an example of giving. Like the Beatles, they gave a lot of music to the world, and that is why we hold them in high regard is because they gave us something. They weren't just Kardashians. That's why people, don't have that. They don't hold Kim Kardashian as in high regard as the Beatles, because she's not just giving away shit. She's also taking shit. She's taking status. Anyway, but nothing wrong with being an influencer. I mean, influencers, they are giving stuff to the world too. Anyway, so that's just one thing that'll make you sad, is if you're stuck in this only taking from the world rut. You feel like it's like gross. That's how I feel sometimes when I'm just going through the motions, when I'm just kind of drifting or coasting through life. You feel spoiled and gross when you're just like, oh man, I'm not contributing anything to the world. I'm just a fucking roach. I'm just like I'm just this organism that's just fucking a leech, just a tumor, a fucking tick. Completely isolated, not contributing any wealth or value to the community at large. And that just is so fucking gross, and that's where the guilt comes in. And of course you're gonna be depressed, and like antidepressants ain't gonna fucking fix that. But I needed the antidepressants to at least get me out of this fucking clinical darkness that was needed. That's where the chemical intervention was needed. I just needed to get the brain chemistry fixed before I could work on the other shit to give me the healthy. You just need to get over the shit that you can't deal with. Anyway, so when will I get back into giving to the world? I don't know, man. I'm a greedy fucking Jew. And sometimes there is just such a thing as being, I'm not talking about everybody here, but for me, I am one of those people where it's just like I'm just a parasite. The world is not benefiting from me. I mean, okay, I pay my taxes, but that's it. That's fucking it, man. I'm not contributing. So why am I like that? I don't know. It's fun. It's relaxing. It's nice to just be a parasite, to just take and not give anything back. But I don't like that. So I will get out of it. It's just like, I think it just comes down to laziness. And I guess some of it comes from like this feeling of like, ugh, I just don't want to. I don't want to do the heavy lifting. And you gotta have a purpose. There's gotta be like a purpose to it that is rewarding on the way up. Yeah, because like, I don't know, because I see other people like doing what I wanted to do. And I don't hate myself. I don't have like self-hate that's stopping me from doing it. I think it's just late. A lot of it is just this brain fog. I think, yeah, I still just struggle with like this heaviness and fatigue that's just stopping me from being a producer. Somebody who gives instead of takes. So I think it's got to be something good. I want to start a business, man. Like another business, a new business. Because I did give to the world by running the application that I ran from 2018 to 2022. I ran a beautiful business in crypto, but I got out of it, and it's like, okay, what's the next step, baby? Maybe it will be some kind like that idea. Maybe it'll be a something like that. It doesn't have to be like the am I dead app, even though that's not like the worst thing I've ever thought. That's like, Hey, I would use it. So that's not a bad idea, but like, fuck it, dude. Maybe it will just be to make an app. Because like I did, I tried to pursue the whole being a entertainer thing. It's like, I want to be something that involves that taps into my talents, my entertainment, my performance talents. But it's like, yes, that would be cool. That would be fucking cool. But then if you get sick of that, it's not going to be profitable. How do you profit off being a comedian if you don't even want to go out and do it? If you don't even want to talk to people, how do you fucking do that? How do you put your... Yeah, so it's like, okay, I don't want to do that right now. So what's something I could do every day for years and not get sick of? That's a good question. It was the app from 28 for the past 4 years. I did that almost every day, but not really. I took breaks from it. Even running an app that has tens of thousands of daily users got fucking boring. So I'm a pretty unique... I get fucking bored of shit. Even if it's like successful, man. That's my problem. I think that's what the zoloft... That's what I'm taking it for, is I need prolonged pleasure or reward. My reward system is all fucked up from smoking too much weed, from something, and it's stopping me from chasing the delayed gratification that comes from these creative hobbies. The reason that they're not ever going to turn into a career is because I don't have the fucking I don't know what the word... I just can't get pleasure out of doing the same thing more than once. So even though I have some ability to like do comedy and like get laughs on stage at a comedy show, that doesn't mean I'm ever going to be a stand-up comedian, because I just don't like it enough to do it as often as it takes. And same with anything. Isn't that fucking weird? Like, even just because you're okay at something, just because you're like competent, it's like, I don't want to fucking do that shit. It's like there's millions of fucking careers that I could do. Doesn't mean I want to, like, isn't that fucking shitty? One of the shitty things about the world, about just being a person, is that you could be a fucking talented cobbler or cook, carpenter, teacher. You could just have a knack for it. You could be great at interacting with children, at sculpting minds. But that doesn't mean you're going to be doesn't mean you're going to have any desire to do that shit. Isn't that fucking sad? I don't know. Something sad about that. Like, that just because you could be like a fucking genius at something, but never do it because it's like, I don't fucking care. I don't want to do that shit. There's got to be a reward. We live in an incentivized world. The human experience revolves around incentivization. Like, there's got to be a fucking reason to do it. Yeah, so there's something poignant about that. Like, there's all these motherfuckers, these greedy fucking people like me that could be helping the world in some way, like, but they think they're too good, that they don't want to exert the time and effort to do it, because it was like, oh no, why would I want to waste my time put the wear and tear on my muscle to do something that's not what I'm meant to be doing from like a cosmic, that's how I look at things, is like, unless it's like the number one priority, I don't fucking want to waste my time doing that shit. And that's why I'm doing this podcast, because this podcast is the number one thing I should be doing right now. There's other priorities, life is going by. What am I going to make of the next 5 years of my life? Just another 8 years from now, or 7 years, I'm going to be in my 40s. What am I going to look back at to show? What am I going to have to show for it? I want to be an entrepreneur or an entertainer or both. You might as well just combine the fucking two, because you can't really be just an entertainer anymore. You kind of have to build a business around your career in entertainment, even if you're just a podcast. Anything, man. So I guess I'm still thinking about what that is going to be. How am I going to wrap my personality into a form of like, what is the niche that I'm going to wrap my personality around? Probably something in investing. There's a lot of fucking white dudes that don't get a lot of vitamin D that are very good at talking about the financial market. Martin Shkreli, he's exactly like me. He's me if I were to work harder. I would be him if I were just a little bit smarter and higher achieving. Other than that, we're pretty much the same guy. We're both super unlikable white dudes who just want to talk shit and be smart and have a lot of money. Whoa, okay. Anyway. I get why people don't want to watch me be successful or something like that, because I'm not relatable. So it's like, why would I chase? I don't know. I guess it's actually, I take that back. I am likable when I'm at my best. When I'm actually enjoying myself, of course, that could be fun. That's likable. If I'm doing, there's many facets to my personality. So I could be an entertainer, but I have to actually really want to do that shit, man. Being a streamer, oh man, that's tough work. But yeah, so I'm not doing that right now. Oh yeah, bugs. So I set up all these traps, and I vacuumed, and I got so much dust. Anyway, I don't care about any of that, dude. Oh, okay. We don't need to keep. So this shirt that I'm wearing, I love this shirt. It's $50. All right. None of these topics matter. But finance. Let's just do a quick update on finance. The markets, crypto, passive income, dividends. So I've been, putting my Tesla dollars into the stock market, and I've been paying off my car loan for the Mazda Miata, which I have not driven in about a month. It's weird, man. It's weird just having, so I got my car loan down to $10,000. It was $30,000 just a month ago, so I paid down a lot of money. And it's at the point where I don't really need to pay it down anymore. So it's at $9,400 at a 6% APR. So I'm paying, I don't know, $500 a year in interest. That's not that bad. So I don't know. I could use that money instead of paying off the car loan anymore. I think that $9,000 would rather be put in something that's going to, like an investment account, like an index fund. That's what I've been buying. And I've been buying stock. So now that the car loan is kind of in the back, not something I have to really worry about anymore. I'm probably going to make one more big payment, though, just because even $600 a year still too. I'm probably going to make one more big payoff on that one. But now that that's kind of not the priority, we could focus on more fun stuff, like putting a little bit more into the stock market. So, let's talk about Bed Bath & Beyond. Isn't that crazy that that's what we're talking about in this year? Like, of all things, of all companies, that's the thing we're talking about? A retail store for middle-class women? Like, why is a dude like me talking about a company like that? Well, it's because it's the new thing. It's the new craze. It's the new GameStop. So last week, I talked about how I got sucked into the whole Wall Street Bets subreddit, and I'm pretty fucking... It's a pretty good subreddit to just read. And, so I got sucked into it, and I played the game. I made a move into the gambling of... And I think it was that day that I bought in. When the last episode was recorded, I bought $2,000 worth of Bed Bath & Beyonds at about $10.90. I bought it even before the market opened, and then it went down to $8. And I was like, okay, well, whatever. But the sentiment was still super high. People were like, don't worry, this is normal. Just because it went down a little bit doesn't mean anything, because the target is still way higher for a lot of call options that Ryan Cohen fucking bought. So just stick to the plan. So it went up after that just the next day to like $12. And I was like, okay, it's profitable. But I didn't buy any more because $2,000 was my only that's the only amount I was comfortable investing in a meme stock. I could have invested a lot more. So, like, I don't know. I'm just saying that because it went up a lot more. This fucking thing, this is not my first rodeo. So for me, it was like, okay, that's cool. So yesterday it went up to like $28, I think is the highest it went to so far. So I had a take profit order set to $19, and I canceled that and raised it up because I was like, you know what? It's going to blow past that. That's not a place of resistance. $19? Nah. Put it up to $22. That's a place where I saw resistance. So I put it up to $22. It filled. Then it shot up to $28. So I've only sold 50 shares so far. So I recouped a lot of my initial investment. I recouped more than half of my principal of $2,000. So I'm less invested. I'm only half gambling now. Now I've already reduced my gambling exposure by 50%, and it's now only $1,000 of a principal of my money that I have, that I'm exposing to risk. And the upside, and it's profitable though. It's still in the green. I could sell it and get all my money back and make a profit. I could double my money. But that's not how you do it. That's not what you're supposed to do. So I took some, so I was like, okay, that's pretty cool that I just doubled my money. That's about what it did. And it's like, okay, $4,000. That's money that I didn't have that I could now invest into real stocks to solidify it, because just because this was free money, I don't treat it as free money. I treat it as money that I earned, because the emotional fucking torment, it takes the toll that you pay when you see your fucking investment go up and down like that. You're paying for it with emotional damage. So that's why I am going to take profits as they come. So the next time, I'm going to get all my money back, and then, so I have a couple more take profit orders, like at, I don't know, $32 is the next one, and then one way up at like $50 or something like that. So there's still a lot of upside that would need to happen for me to take that profit, but I'm going to take the fucking profit because I treat that as like real money. Just because it falls into my lap because of a meme, because of like a pump and dump, that don't mean that I don't see it as like, okay, now I'm just going to blow it on something. No, that's just money that's going to grow my portfolio a little quicker than it would have otherwise. But I want to retain every little bit of that value. Like, just because it shot up super fast doesn't mean I'm going to let it shoot back down, is what I'm saying. So that's why those take profit orders is like, okay, if it's going to shoot up that fast, well, I'm going to take the value that it shot up to permanently and put it into real permanent investments, such as index funds, which I am a big fan of. So it turned out that I made the right decision or whatever. I don't know. It's a gamble. It was like betting. So the bet worked out. So does that make me feel like a big rush? I don't know. Not really. Because I only made a couple $1,000, which is fucking great. That's a lot more than my dividends. It's a lot more than I would have made if I had not done that. But it's like these meme things, these pump and dumps, they only come once in a long. They're very rare. So I guess I could have put in a lot more. If I put in 20,000, then I would have made 20,000 in profit. That would have been pretty significant, because once I really increase my portfolio, then it's just going to be dumped into low risk index funds. And then I won't have to worry about what the market's doing on a day-to-day basis. And I won't have to chase after these fucking meme stocks. I'll be rich enough where I won't have to chase the high volatile fucking gambles. Once you have a big enough portfolio, it's not a question of if you're going to stay wealthy. It's just a matter of how long. So that's the goal, is to get to the point where you just have enough wealth where it's going to go up. And then it just doesn't really matter what the market's doing. Because, yes, if you have all your money in equities, which is stocks, you're going to have a lot of downside through the years. But through the decades, it's going to go up. But you might have like you might have years and years where it's like 50% down. Your portfolio, if it's all in equities, it could go from 100,000 to 50,000 for years and be stuck at 50K. But why is that not a problem? Well, because the market always comes back. It always comes back. I don't care if it's a depression or if it's a pandemic, it'll come back. And what is it going to be doing in the meantime while it's down? What is your portfolio doing while it's at 50K? It's not just sitting there doing nothing. It's not collecting dust. It is getting paid dividends. And those dividends, if you're smart, they're being automatically reinvested into whatever you're holding to generate those dividends. So even though it's still the same amount at 50K and it doesn't look like it's gaining any value, it's gaining equity. It's gaining the number of shares is going up. So once the market does recover, it's going to recover at a higher principal than it was before the market went down. So you're going to have a lot more money. You're not just going to go back to 100K. It's going to go up to 150K, and it's going to stay there. And then the next time the market goes down, it's going to only go down to 100K. And that's the poorest you're going to be because it was growing in that time. It only appreciates after a certain point, so it's all relative to how much your principal is. And how much your expenses are. If your expenses are lower than your income, that's all that really matters for the most part. And you just got to continue investing. You don't have to time the market. If we're talking about decades, then it doesn't really matter when you buy. You could do a lump sum investment in a total market index fund like VTI or VT, which is the entire global economy. And yeah, it'll only grow, and that's the best move. And that's it's fun, but it's also just the smartest thing to do is if you're trying to be rich and not rich, just be smart with money. You don't touch your principal and keep investing and keep buying meme stocks. This was Financial Advice with Tim Weichselbaum, and this has been episode 43 of the Tim Weichselbaum Show. I'll see y'all next week. Bye.